Hello and welcome to the Kingdom YouTube podcast. My name is Jacko and Tim. I'm joined by Ivory.
Hi.
Hi Ivory, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this should be episode 9 of the podcast. This is also a special episode because at the end of this episode is going to be the slideshow for the month of April's flag contest, and we'll have the winning one at the beginning, and then second, third, and fourth afterwards, and then all the other submissions as well after that. And then in May, we're going to have a flag contest again. Same idea. You have to make a flag that represents the kingdom in the current moment or season of the month of May. And then the best one will be posted on our website, which there can be a link to the website found in the description and pinned comment below, along with any articles or videos or any topics in general we talk about that we can link to provide information for you, or additional information like an image. You can find it in the description and the pinned comment below. So let's start off with talking about the new Assassin's Creed game. Did you see the trailer for the new Assassin's Creed game at all?
I have not.
Okay, are you into Assassin's Creed at all?
No.
No? Okay,
I've never
fair
played
enough.
a game.
Honestly. You have never played an Assassin's Creed game?
Maybe once in, 5th grade, but, never, in
Do you
detail.
know what number it was? Which one?
No.
Were you a native?
No.
Okay, so in one of these games, the reason why I bring up the native one, because I find that this new one is kind of similar to that, because this new one's about Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
So, they show a guy having a fucking, wrist blade. You know the whole kind of, ordeal with, Assassin's Creed, right?
No.
Okay, so there's this, the games are about, this lineage of assassins throughout history, who are, connected by bloodline, essentially, in some way or another, or connected through relationships or understanding of one another, to the most part. Whether that just be, a connection to the same organization, or, hey, this guy fucked my sister or some shit, and that's how that whole spiel works. And most of the time, or early on, it was actual proper Italian assassins and shit like that. And now they've kind of branched off and done weird shit, having Roman Greeks, ancient Greeks and ancient Egyptians, and now they're doing Vikings. Which it looks cool. There's going to be the trailer on screen for everybody that's interested in looking at it. You can also find the trailer in the description and pinned comment if you want to watch the whole thing, because I'm only going to show a part of it. But honestly, it reminds me of Black Flag. You remember? Did you ever see someone play Black Flag at any point?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit always was fun to play, and I think it looked fun to watch as well.
Well, I didn't really understand it, so... To me, they all look the same, honestly.
Yeah, Black Flag was a little bit different, and Black Flag is kind of notorious for having a weird story to it, by adding shit that other games didn't have. Because in other games, you were related by blood to the person. Okay, so you're a character who goes back in time using a machine to someone you're related to by blood. Your character is related to by blood. So you basically go along your bloodline, and then you find stuff out about these. Usually it's this enemy group called the Templars, but I don't think they've always done that. I think they've kind of bounced around. Mind you, I haven't played all games. I'm not a huge fan. My dad is though. But in that game, you're just some random fucking dude on a payroll, just being alright, your job is to log into the fucking network and just find out information about these people, which I thought was really cool. I would recommend Black Flag, and this new Viking one reminds me a lot of Black Flag, mainly because I saw a boat in it and it just looks weird. And also they said it's coming out on holiday 2020, which I don't know what the fuck that means.
There's a lot of holidays to choose from.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's Christmas. I don't know why they wouldn't just say Christmas. Why is holiday? Why do you have to say holiday 2020? But I guess, nowadays you don't really know when the fuck the Christmas is gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's move on to a game that you do know about, Animal Crossing.
Hell yeah.
So there was that new update. I think I might have talked about it in the previous podcast before this one with Jay. But they added a new character called Red, right?
Yeah.
And so he adds a bunch of like art and the like, right? And have you seen like how you're supposed to tell a fake from a real thing?
Well, they have a bunch of like from New Leaf, and like I think there is a game before that has Red, but I think most of them might be the same. So there's a lot of different websites that have like all of the real ones and the fake ones that you can compare. But most of the time, they're really notorious paintings, so you can definitely like look at it and say that's not the fucking Mona Lisa, and just get the correct one.
What does that mean though? Like having a fake? Like what the fuck does that mean? Having a fake painting in Animal Crossing?
Usually they edit like a piece of the painting so it looks different, I guess.
Okay, so so it's just like a fucked up one?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Mona Lisa, but the Mona Lisa one and this one, the regular one doesn't have eyebrows necessarily, but this one, it has eyebrows that are like pointed downwards, so you can definitely tell that one's a fake.
I was seeing a bunch of ones about like them people talking about like there's these fucking like demon creatures in the back. You know what I'm talking about? What's that? Is that also a way of telling a fake, or is that just some weird like visual bug?
Well, I'm not sure if they added it or not. I mean, honestly, it's anything goes, I guess, as long as you find the real one.
Yeah. Do you have any art? What arts have you bought from Red yet?
I forget, but I know that the first one I got was the Jolly painting, which is
the Jolly painting.
It's the one where I think it was a French artist, maybe, where he used a bunch of like fruits and vegetables to paint a side profile of a guy's face.
Oh, okay. And is it a real or is it a fake?
Well, that one's a real. You can only put them in the museum if they're real.
Okay, so there's not like one real where it's like only one person can get it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Cause I don't own Animal Crossing I mean, Ivory's aware of this, but for the people at home, I do not own Animal Crossing, sadly. So I'm just really into it, and then I got even more into it because this art update, because I know quite a bit about art. So I'm really interested in seeing like, I don't know if you saw this, but you know the Financial Times?
No.
You ever heard? Okay, so the Financial Times covers finances globally, from my understanding, and they talked about Animal Crossing, like the finances of Animal Crossing. I'll leave a link to the article I'm referring to in the description, but like that game's having a weird impact on the world right now, and I'm wondering if a couple people are having their like palms greased. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because because look, you have all these celebrities. I mean, not to say that celebrities aren't fucking people and they play games. It's just weird that you have like Danny fucking Trejo, like, you know who Danny Trejo is, right? The machete guy. Fuck. There's for sure a movie you've seen with him in it. He's I don't want to say he's Puerto Rican. I'm not sure what he is. But he's a big fucking mohawk. He's a very memorable face.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
He was promoting. Well, I'll leave a picture for people watching on screen. Also, for the audio listeners listening on Spotify or Apple Music or Google Podcasts or any of the other places available, like Anchor FM, you can find a link to the podcast, most likely in the More Info tab for the podcast you're currently listening to, as well as for previous episodes. So you can go back after you listen to the audio version, or instead of listening to the audio version, you can watch the video on our YouTube channel, which is the Kingdom on YouTube. But yeah, Danny Trejo, and then you had the dude from The Hobbit, which I always forget his fucking name. And they were like doing Animal Crossing things, like just tweeting to people, like replying to tweets, being like, "Hey, I saw your fucking turnip prices. What's your code?" And it was just like,
oh yeah, I've seen shit like that. Yeah.
That shit's cool. That's, there's a bunch of like, not artists, but actors that I'm seeing that are kind of like popping up, and everybody's just like, the man just wanted fucking turnips, like, and then it's become this huge thing.
I don't think I've ever seen a game that like it literally globally connects everybody like this intense. It's so mainstream now. It's weird to see.
I'm wondering if this game would have done as well, like, you know, in terms of how its global outreach is, if not for the current situation. We're not going to say the specific name of the situation, but bear in mind it's April 30th of 2020, and we are in week 8 or 9 now. We're not going to say the original name because YouTube tends to suppress those videos that mention it, with the purpose of stopping misinformation from spreading, which we're all for. We're just not going to mention it because we'd like more people to watch the podcast. So, but yeah, well, I wonder how much of a difference it would have been.
I definitely think it wouldn't have. I think it would have been very big anyway, but I definitely think it wouldn't have reached as many people, you know, as many famous people, and it wouldn't have been disconnected.
Honestly, dude, I can't remember a single ad that I got from this game.
I've only seen it on Facebook. I've only seen like actual ads on Facebook, and then the only reason I ever saw ads is because I went to like see Nintendo Directs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wonder what their ad budget was, if they were just paying people to just talk about it and not. I mean, that wouldn't be very like different for Nintendo to grease a couple palms and tell people, hey, just talk about this, you know?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What they did with Super Mario Maker. I kind of remember hearing about that. The first one, they gave a couple people some money to just play it, really. Because that's how you really get a game going, I find. You know, a lot of people say that like YouTube kind of kills the game because people then don't buy the game. But I can't think of a game that I ever looked at and thought, no, that's a shit game. I'm not going to, like, how do I explain this? There's never been a game where I enjoyed the story that someone was playing in a YouTube video and didn't go out and buy the game afterwards. You know what I mean?
Most of the time, the only reason I wouldn't buy a game that I've seen on YouTube is because I didn't have enough money for it. So, like, if I did have money for it, I definitely would still buy it. But
yeah, like Last of Us, the original Last of Us. That game, I watched PewDiePie play it in its entirety, knew the ending and everything, and I still bought the game. So I was like, I just want to experience that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's why nowadays, there needs to be more games that are an experience, you know? Like, I feel like a lot of people make fun of, like, the movie games or whatever.
Well, yeah.
It's, like, a lot of cutscenes or whatever, but I feel like you need a lot more of those than anything else to grab people's attention.
Something more
these days.
personalized.
Yeah. Or at the very least, something that has more of an engaging story. But I guess, like, you can still have games like Stardew Valley and Minecraft that can blow up with no real story at all.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I feel like, dude, I want to start playing Stardew Valley again, but I want to get a Switch first, and then maybe get on the Switch.
It's actually pretty fun on the Switch too. I have it on the Switch, and I mean, I assume it'd be the same thing on PC. I feel like it's better to have that kind of game on like a handheld console, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, that I would get that game if I got a Switch. I want to go Switch Lite. But yeah, so to go back to Animal Crossing real quick before we tangent off to something else. Do you know if there's any news about the Froggy chair? That fucking meme?
But I'm thinking, because I haven't seen one person talk about it, and I know by now somebody would have gotten it, so I'm thinking it's not even in the game, like, because the Froggy chair really blew up at, like, the end of Animal Crossing being made, so I feel like they were like, oh shit, and then they just didn't add it.
I feel like it's gotta be with Red, honestly. Like, it just shouldn't be like a knockoff somewhere of a Froggy chair, and then it's like super rare that you actually get it. I heard rumors, but I think it was just like theory crafting, where people are like, you can get a Froggy chair from Red. And
I don't think you'd be able to donate it to the museum, though. I think it'd just be something that's super rare.
You just put in your house or some shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of museum and shit you put in your house, have you ever heard of Arcolect or Aesthetic Charter?
No.
No. Okay, so these are two Twitter accounts. I'll post their information on screen as well. Leave it in the description and pinned comment. But they're literally just like two. From my understanding, Arcolect is like this AI generated system that posts images that people just find interesting, so visually interesting. So it could be fucking any kind of image, and sometimes it reposts stuff, and every image it posts is going to be like pleasing visually to some degree, and that's all it does. It's just an AI that just is like, yeah, humans like this. And I think that's really fucking weird that that's already a thing, and all it does is just post images on Twitter, and nobody freaks out about it because some of the images are cool, but I can't remember. There was one that they posted a while ago that was really fucked up. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was just like an explosion or some shit. We were like, "Oof, why the fuck is this being posted?" And it was like, well, and then it ended up being one of their most liked images because it's fucked up. It's visually appealing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because people are like, it's the whole like, it's so fucked up, it's funny, where it's also so destructive, it's beautiful kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that AI even finds those things, which is crazy to me. And then Aesthetic Charter is kind of different. It's only really art, and it posts basically stuff that's to do with like Renaissance painting. I talked about this in a previous podcast about Romanticism. You know what Romanticism art is?
I think I have an idea.
Yeah. Well, okay. What do you think it is?
Like, I don't know how to describe it. You should probably describe it, but I'm thinking like probably like really in detail, like I'm thinking like landscaping stuff and like
yeah, you're right there. Yeah. Because Romanticism, a lot of people will think of it as like actual romance.
Yeah.
When in reality, it was actually just people like wanting to fuck the earth or whatever, and so they're just painting the earth like crazy. And it was always like more about the environment than the actual characters. So sometimes you wouldn't even have a person. I think one of the rules and principles of that era in art was no people, no humanity. And I'm really, I mean, I can't say that it's happening because I follow people that already do that naturally on like Instagram and Twitter. But I'm wondering if we're going to see a rise in Romanticism art again after all this is over or during this, you know? Because there's this huge like how nature is healing, or like literally if you looked at your window, all you would have is what Romanticism was talking about and wanted.
Exactly.
A world without humans, essentially. So I wonder if we'll go back to that. I don't know if have you ever heard of Retro-Futurism?
Well, I can imagine it. I mean, yeah, that's what Fallout is basically, right?
Basically, yeah. So I'll leave the definition on screen, but basically, and this is me not knowing the definition off the top of my head. This is just me kind of remembering what it was. Is Retrofuturism is the modern take on a future idea, or an idea of the future from the past. So you know, like the old 60s and 70s, how they thought we were all being flying cars and shit, and everything like was this weird palette of colors. It looked like it was off of a cigarette box or some shit. Yeah. People doing, if you did that now and you drew that now, that would be Retrofuturism.
Well, I think that's, I've always loved the idea of like what people thought of like from the 80s, which is why I really like the aesthetic of Fallout. But like I know people, there's a series, like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like almost a documentary on how if humans were suddenly to like leave Earth, like what would happen to it, and that's kind of like what I'm thinking of is happening.
Yeah, because this shit's really whack right now. All the animals went crazy, but I'm surprised. So I live on like a big open green space essentially, because it's like mainly a golf course and like a park essentially, and we had like a big uptick in coyotes because there was an uptick in rabbits. So we had the prey, and then we had the predator. We had the predator for a lot longer than we had the prey, and I have not seen either one. and it's I barely have any people in my street. It's like Florida. This is where old people go to die in my area. So it's just weird that like everyone's talking about how they see animals and shit. Like people in Greece seeing those fucking those goats coming down from the mountains and just eating people's lawns.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm seeing nothing. Like the most interaction with animals I'll see is like a cat walking outside, or even my own cat just walking around the house. I haven't seen anything, which is I feel like surprising for my area with how much green there is, but also not because I live basically on top of a fucking train, so I don't know.
I'm not really sure either, because I live like out in the country anyway. So, and right now they're tearing down trees to set up like power lines or something like that. So it's hard to say like what's going on with like the deer and stuff like that because there's still construction work going on where I live, so I don't really see like a boom in population of animals.
Yeah, it could just be normal human intervention, like something that was going to happen beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder how nature's going to react after this. You know, you got those animals in like Japan. They're like walking out into like the middle of like really old bustling areas, and then being like, "Where the fuck is everybody? I want food. Why aren't you giving me food?" And it's like, what are those animals going to think after this?
Yeah, I feel bad for animals right now because, especially like in the city, they're not being like fed anymore, and it's like with pigeons and raccoons, they basically live off of human intervention, so
yeah,
they are now having to actually fend for themselves, and I feel like that's definitely going to lower the population for them a lot.
I feel like there's gonna be a big uptick though in like population for a lot of wild animals like deer.
Oh yeah,
like stuff that's like in hunting season right now. So a lot of hunting. I think hunting's kind of been put on hold for a lot of people, especially considering there's more and more research like being kind of like popping up that animals are getting sick with it now.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
So you don't really want to eat the meat of something that's gonna make you sick unless you don't think straight. Speaking of not thinking straight, do you watch a lot of Twitch?
No.
Okay, you ever heard of Alinity?
Yeah, I watched a few videos on her.
Yeah, the chick that fucking gave vodka to her cat and like threw her cat across the room and all that shit. Did you hear what happened recently though?
I'm thinking. I hope I'm thinking.
She showed her nipple on stream.
Yeah. And how she had to ask Twitch to ban her. I just don't understand why she wasn't wearing a bra in the first place while she was streaming with a shirt. That's what I don't get. She shouldn't have to have been banned. But
you don't think she should have been banned?
Well,
or she was put on a 3-day like leave essentially. I guess. Yeah, suspension. Yeah, that's what.
I feel like she should have. She was banned. I feel like she should have been, like, rightfully so. That's against TOS, but she had to ask Twitch to give her a punishment, which I feel like is wrong on Twitch's part, because apparently, I'm not sure really how their moderators work, but apparently there's like a group who cater to certain streamers, and so they won't ban them if they do something necessarily.
Well, yeah, supposedly the Twitch team do not know who all the moderators are. And that's the anonymity is supposed to be what like helps people by them not having like an opinion.
Yeah.
By not having a face or a visage, they can't be impacted in some capacity. And for Alinity, like you said, she on Twitter said that I fucked up. I kind of deserve a punishment, so I'm going to take a 3-day leave. And only when she said that did she get a 3-day suspension, which means she can come back later with just the repercussion of not having earned any money in those 3 days.
I think that's terrible, but it had to get popular for Twitch. If she wasn't that big of a creator, Twitch probably wouldn't have noticed it anyway. So they would have let it happen.
Yep.
Essentially, I guess.
we're at 25 minutes, so we're gonna have a quick little ad break for the merch and potentially for our sponsor, Anchor FM. We'll be right back. What are some things you've been up to?
I've been learning guitar, actually. I haven't actually been learning. I've just been fucking with it, but I've just been practicing more stuff.
Like what specifically? Like just out of pure boredom, or?
Yes. That, and I don't want to do schoolwork, so it's an excuse.
Well, are you planning on learning any songs specifically? Because I know you just said that you're kind of just messing around on it, but
if I find one.
Yeah.
But most of the ones that, because I tried to learn White Rabbit at one point, but that one is really hard to get the chords for, so I think I'll just find a different one.
Hey, you mentioned you were learning White Rabbit. I've never heard of White Rabbit before. Like, who did? Is it a song, or is it just like an instrumental type thing that you learn?
I think it's from the Airplanes. I think their name is. The Jefferson Airplanes. I think that's it, or Airplane. I forget, but it's a song.
Well, either way, I'll leave a link in the description for people.
It's basically about like drug usage and like psychedelics, I think, but like in terms of like Alice in Wonderland, I guess. But I can't even get the first chord for it, so I'm just gonna pick a different song that's easier.
What's a song that you really want to know though? Like besides White Rabbit, like one that you're like, if I get that good, that's what I'm gonna play.
I have no clue. I don't really even listen to songs with that much like guitar.
I was talking in the previous podcast with Jay about JoJo. You ever watch JoJo?
No, I have not, Jacko.
I recommend it. It's good. Especially part 3, but part 4 is better, and I'll tell you why. So I'm a big listener of music lately. I've been listening to a lot of music. But JoJo, because all the characters in like part 4 and on are named after songs, you kind of get like, if you just look up the characters' names, you get like a huge album essentially of a bunch of music, which I think is a really good place to start. Like I learned about Catch the Rainbow was a good song that I learned about from watching that series. And I'm trying to think of some other ones. You know, I was talking about the Rainbow Goblins. Remember that? Have you ever been in VC when I was playing Rainbow Goblins?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's a really good song. Got a great fucking art to it, dude. It's great. It's like a weird like play almost more than an actual song. It's very strange. I've been posting like basic like albums every couple of days on Twitter. Also my Twitter is Jacko_2026 for people interested. And I've just been posting albums every couple of days, just the shit that I've been jamming out to. And lately it's been this one guy who was DJing in his own home. And he's just doing like cafe style music, you know, quote unquote, where he's just like swapping albums and shit like that. The video is really peaceful to watch because it's just a guy like putting on his headphones and listening a little bit and then walking away and then coming back with like a cup of coffee, like standing on like a rug in like just a wooden. It's full like smooth jazz kind of aesthetic. That's nice, but it's not just jazz. It's like punk and other shit going on in there too.
Yeah.
It's just nice to watch.
I remember one time we had like a school dance, and this guy, they usually have like the same guy come in to DJ, and I find it funny because he'll play like trap music and like rap music and pop music, mainstream stuff for the dances, and then we found his SoundCloud, and it's just terrible EDM and dubstep. It was such a weird contrast. To know that some 40-year-old guy is making EDM and dubstep to compare to DJing for high school dances.
I'm sure that the man was paid to play certain songs by the school. Like, the school probably came up with a playlist for him. Mm-hmm. Because during in elementary school, like our final dance or some shit like that, when we asked the guy to play specific things, my school was like, no. Well, because they couldn't confirm that it wasn't like swearing and all that garbage, you know.
Well, so they had a system where they would like, you can tweet at him and tell him what song you want to listen to, but I'm sure that they would have the principal or something go, is this song okay? And she's like, no, you can't play that. And so everything was probably filtered through. I doubt they went down the list or anything.
Yeah. You ever heard of, this is like completely going off beat, but you ever heard of Captain Disillusion?
No.
Okay. That might just be something that's more interesting for the people watching who like to edit videos or learn about how videos are edited and everything like that. But he's just like been like he debunks stuff or shows how shit is done, like how like UFO footage has been done and everything. Mm-hmm. I mention him so that I can sidetrack into the UFO part. Did you see what happened recently with the Pentagon and UFOs?
Yeah, and I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it because that shit's kind of scary.
Hashtag Facebook quote is what you just said, because that was literally something that I saw every fucking day. It was 3 videos, I believe. I'll show one of them because it's public access, so I'm assuming it's okay for me to show, of what is clearly an unidentified flying object. So it is a UFO. I mean, me throwing a rock into the air and you not knowing that it's a rock automatically makes it a UFO. So, I mean, it doesn't mean it's aliens. It just means it's a fucking thing that's like, ooh, we don't know what it is. And the footage looks pretty new. I mean, it's in black and white, but that's like the cameras for jets and shit like that. So, but that shit was interesting. Yeah.
I think it would scare me more if it was like not aliens and it was something from Earth, because the fact that we don't know what would be flying, even though we have everything basically monitored, kind of makes me more scared of like what people are doing down here. Because if it's an alien, it's like, okay, who the fuck cares? We been knew that, but we're supposed to know what's going on down here. But
I mean, there's whole countries that just don't let people look at what they're doing or just lie to people.
Well, that's true.
You know? So I don't think we've never had a country that's not lied or not hidden themselves to some capacity throughout human history. So no, I mean, I agree with you partially. I understand what you're saying, but like, yeah, I don't want to give credence to UFOs. There probably was aliens at one point on Earth, but I don't think that they're going to be back for a while. Speaking of not being back for a while, I want to mention a video that I'm working on right now. It's for the Golden Record. You've never heard For the Golden Record, right?
Oh, you played it the other day in VC.
Yeah, well, the one I played in VC was a song, which is on the Golden Record. So for the people that don't know, including Ivory, the Golden Record is a collection of stuff that's supposed to represent humanity as a whole. So it's like a picture of our biology, reproductive systems, different places on Earth, how people eat, how they drink, how the human body functions. And like there's this one song that's on there that's supposed to represent like all of humanity to some capacity. And I was just playing in VC on one of our music bots. Speaking of music bots, there should be, by the time this is out, there should be a video explaining music bots. So if you have any questions about those, go give that a look. There should be a thing at the top of the video that'll pop up, so you can go straight there afterwards, or right now if you wish. Sadly, that's all the time we have left. My name is Jacko, and today I was joined by Ivory.
Hi.
And once again, at the end of this video, there will be a slideshow showing the various flight contests submissions for April, including the winners, or winners potentially, person in second place, third place, and fourth place, and so on. I want to thank everyone that participated in April's flag contest, and I look forward to seeing what everyone does for May's. You'll be able to find the winning flag in the website at the time of the upload of this video. So you can also find a description to our website in the description and the pinned comment.